Hello everyone, my name is Aspen Kohler and I wanted to do a short 5-minute presentation on war between Armenia and Azerbaijan. I put a question mark after this because this spiraling war, not war yet, is a 3-week-old conflict between the two countries over disputed territory in the Caucasus Mountains where Europe and Asia meet. I wanted to provide an outline on 5 things: how it started, who is involved, what's the current plan for resolution, what are the levels of analysis in this current international conflict, and what type of international conflict is involved. The 2 last parts of the outline I wanted to include to involve parts of our Module 4 lecture that I've seen in this current international conflict that I wanted to relate to what was going on here, but are mentioned at the end of the presentation so I can give you more background information on what is going on in these countries. How it started. This conflict between Azerbaijan and Armenia over a territory, the Caucasus Mountains, has been ruthless. Armenia doesn't stand a chance. Between Azerbaijan's developed, oil-revenued, built-up military that they've been working on for years, doesn't stand a chance to Soviet Union's poorest country, one of their poorest countries. I seen this, the poor versus the rich, and rich versus the poor, and I immediately thought domestic level of analysis. This conflict has been ruthless because the technological advancements that the Azerbaijan has, like the drones that have been hovering over Armenians' houses or no matter where they're outside, there are these drones that ultimately have been killing a multitude of people. Who is involved? The countries that are aspiring to a close war, like I said before, are Azerbaijan and Armenia. My next bullet, I bring up Armenian genocide because the involvement of another country, Turkey, has to do with the support that Azerbaijan is receiving, whether it's weapons or no matter the case. Azerbaijan and Turkey have a great kinship, a great relationship, and Armenian people and the Turks do not, because of ultimately what happened in the Armenian genocide. And whether that's what you call it or not, there was a mass killing of Armenian people, and that is what ultimately brought me to do this presentation on this subject, because I was curious as to if that was going to happen again, and what was being done to prevent something like the Armenian genocide happening again. Thirdly, my third bullet, I put a question mark next to Russia and U.S. involvement because Russia has done the best they could do in their involvement right now, and inserting their military into this equation of ruthlessness and what is going on wouldn't do much, and it would be very difficult. U.S. involvement, Trump has said he wants to stop what is going on right now. He also wants to maintain the relationship he has, or the U.S. has, with Azerbaijan and Armenia. But he wants to end this, and U.S. involvement is not really likely right now, considering the president just got diagnosed with COVID. What is the current plan for resolution? My main bullet, the top one, devastation. This whole conflict has to do with devastation, and the many people and casualties that have erupted from this conflict, like soldiers, civilians, children, families, is devastating. One word I could very much describe this current international conflict is devastating. Weapons I bring up because the weapons that each country has are totally different, and Russia and U.S. involvement is very scarce, and what's going on right now hasn't resulted anything new, hasn't helped. And although Russia is doing its best, I don't see U.S. helping that much right now. And even though there have been so many casualties, so many things happening, what is going on in this current international event, a pause in war, a pause on what is going on here has been paused. And it hasn't been because of all the casualties or all the devastation that has happened. It's because Azerbaijan and Armenia are accusing each other of violating the Moscow-Brotherhood peace deal. Armenia fired a rocket attack, and Azerbaijan accused them of breaking this peace deal that was only a week old. This ultimately killed 3 children and wounded 50 other people, this rocket attack. So, ending on this note, nothing is being done. No peace has been resolved. And the deal that they did make before didn't do much because weapons are still being used and attacks are still being forced. And even though this missile or this rocket wasn't a weapon of mass destruction, it was a weapon that ultimately put this war on a pause because there is so little to what can be done here with how everything's working out and the countries are acting. What are the levels of analysis in this current international conflict? Like I said before, domestic level of analysis was very apparent to me, being rich versus poor. And the type of international conflict that is involved, I believe to be territorial and ethnic, because both of these parties were wanting the same goal, but they were disrupting each other from having this same goal because they couldn't be peaceful. They wanted to fight about it, and no resolution or no involvement has helped in this situation. And although these types of international conflicts aren't the hardest like religion would be, this conflict is very hard because something like another Armenian genocide is not what needs to happen, and hopefully Russia involvement can help that not happen. But this 3-week-old conflict over disputed territory has devastated many people. It is very unfair because the rich versus poor, even the peace deals that have been created or talked about have been violated. And the devastation isn't what matters here, it's the territory. And I think both of these countries are going to do what it takes to get this territory. And that might mean a second Armenian genocide, which is very devastating. But that is what's going on in this current international event, and it hasn't been resolved yet. But this concludes the end of my presentation, and thank you for listening and getting informed on this spiraling war having to do with Azerbaijan and Armenia. This is a very important conflict that is going on right now, and it also deals with some of the material that we've been talking about in Module 4, and I hope you were able to understand the connections between the two. Here are my sources, and thank you.